Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It is Sunday night. It is time for Sunday Night Live. And tonight is, of course, Sunday night. And so we're doing exactly what we do every Sunday night. Scott and I are here to talk about hypnosis, to share some ideas with you, to answer some questions, and to do brilliant, fun stuff. And so it's great to have everybody here tonight. And as usual, I am going to type in the chat box while Scott says something profound.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. I hope all of you who are fathers had a nice special treat, and those of you who have fathers got to talk to yours and wish them a happy Father's Day and a thank you. I got to spend some time with my dad, which was great. I gave him a jacket. We chose this topic because I think it fits with Father's Day. I really think there's a positive side of reparenting that can go on with coaching. And I think fathers do a lot of that. And so I thought it was thematic for the day when we chose it. And then I said that, and I brought it up, and Richard said, this is a topic that I should be more interested than you. And I said, you're totally right. You do a lot more coaching than I do. And teaching about coaching. And he said, this sounds great. So we talked about that a little while ago, and we're really excited about it. If you're not watching this on Father's Day, I hope you had a good Father's Day and we're doing some fun stuff instead of watching this, and that you're enjoying the recording. Richard, did you have a good Father's Day?
I had a great Father's Day. I did. I started out today with my daughter cooking me sloppy joes for Father's Day, and then my son Alex, which many of you know, he cooked me a delicious vegan dinner to compensate for the sloppy joes that I had at lunch, which means there's probably a little bit of sibling rivalry going on. And to say it best, I'm fat, stuffed, and happy. So there you go. So it was all in all a great Father's Day.
Cool. And by the way, there's already a couple questions going on in the chat room about coaching. That we're going to
already questions?
Yeah, there's already questions. James Hazelrig already asked, how do we distinguish between coaching and giving advice? And Casey Corbin, Casey said he'd like a good general outline of coaching steps would be helpful to him, and then how to integrate hypnosis into each step.
Okay, well, I have a bunch of answers on all of those questions.
I know, these are great. This gets us started right away and just jumps us right in.
Yeah. You want to jump off, Skippy, with some profound thoughts, or do you want me to share some profound thoughts in my experience related to discovering coaching?
No, let's go with you first, after you.
How was that for a leading question I asked you?
Yeah. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to tell you something that's really awesome?
There you go. By the way, coaching is often about asking leading questions, know how to do it correctly. It was probably about 1998, 1997. I was doing a training for mental health professionals at Austin, Texas. And so hi, James Hazelrig in the Austin area. Used to do a lot of training in Austin. And one of the therapists came up to me and said, so what do you think about life coaching? And I said, life coaching? Sounds a lot like people who want to practice therapy without a license. And I gave it no thought after that conversation. I walked away because nobody was calling themselves a coach or promoting coaching because it was 1997 or 1998. It really wasn't on anybody's radar. I have no idea why it was on the radar of the person who asked me the question in 1997 or 1998. But probably many years later, I'm going to call it 5 years later, early to mid 2000s. The whole idea of life coaching really seemed to pop up. It seemed to pop up on Oprah Winfrey. It seemed to pop up on daytime talk shows. It seemed to pop up on the map of state regulatory boards for social work, marriage and family therapy, professional counseling, and psychology. Weren't quite sure what to do with people who were calling themselves life coaches. And most therapists basically said, ooh, life coaching, get away from it. And so being a contrarian and one who tends to always gravitate towards whatever people are trying to get away from, just my nature, I immediately started to check out the arena of coaching. And I was really, really happy. In fact, to some extent, I have to say coaching inspired my jump off into professional hypnosis as a singular profession. Okay, so most people know I've been doing hypnosis as part of therapy since 1989, when I was a master's degree student and had a practicum supervisor who taught me Erickson hypnosis. But I always used hypnosis in context of psychotherapy. But the coaching model really appealed to me because most therapists spend their time trading dollars for hours. In other words, you pay me $50 and I'll spend an hour with you, right? That's the model of therapy. And it's really, the business model is horrible. It's financially a dead end, trading dollars for hours. And the whole idea of coaching seemed to me to be an entirely different business model. And I like this because instead of trading dollars for hours, it was actually selling solutions. There's a big difference between getting paid for a solution and getting paid for my time. Anytime you sell your time, it's just a bad business model. So I became real intrigued and started to wonder, what if I applied this coaching business model to therapy? But you see, the great thing about coaching is that coaching intentionally works with people who are not mentally ill. It intentionally works with people who are doing great. It intentionally works with people who are non-diagnostic. And the statistics are really pretty interesting. If you want to look at the inflated APA statistics, there's about 60 million people in America who meet the diagnostic criteria from the DSM-5 for a psychiatric disorder of one type or another at any given time. There's about 350 million people in the USA, which means if you're working with people who aren't mentally ill, there's a much bigger pond to fish in. And so I thought to myself, I must know more about this coaching. And so I began to really study coaching to discover that coaching was an emerging discipline. It's pretty well established now, but an emerging discipline that really was entirely different than therapy. It has really, a lot of people want to be convoluted. I was just actually reading a journal article earlier in a psychology magazine that wanted to make the case that coaching and therapy are the same thing. And I totally rejected the ideas in this journal article because my experience is that they're entirely different. The idea of coaching is to be with somebody. It really is literally like a baseball coach. In fact, last year, I tried to find it on the Subliminal website, subliminalscience.com website. I was going to post a link. In fact, what I'll probably do is actually add it to the Hypno store and post a link there later on this week. About a year ago, I created a short course on coaching. Now, it's not on the Subliminal Science website. You can't find it. It's not there. And the reason why it's not there is because it was a limited course. But I have all the materials. I have everything available. And I actually, when I went to record it, what I actually did was I went over to Dick's Sporting Goods, because I support anyone whose name is Dick, being Richard Nongard. And so I headed over to Dick's Sporting Goods, and I actually bought a coach whistle, and I actually bought an OU football shirt. And I started that video training series by wearing my coach costume and blowing my whistle and starting the class, because the parallel literally to a sports coach is much better than the parallel or the analogy to a psychotherapist. And so I think we have to realize that we are talking about two different things, coaching and therapy. They are not the same thing. They are, in fact, two distinct professions. I know people have tried to make that case between hypnosis or hypnotherapy and psychotherapy. The reality is the delineation is real clear in coaching. And there are a number of different organizations out there that have promoted certification for coaches. Now, again, like hypnosis, no state requires certification. Probably the biggest and the most well-known is the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. A lesser known, but probably sort of the ASH of the coaching world is the Board of Certified Coaches, which is a board that was established from the National Board of Certified Counselors. I, by the way, have been a member of the board, a BCC certified coach now for about 5 years. It actually requires an exam and other sorts of things. There are a number of different other organizations offering coach training programs. The ICBCH does and has for about 4 years now. There are a number of other organizations that do as well. And most of those coaching certification programs really serve the same purpose as hypnosis certification programs. They are a starting point for your learning. But I've been really happy with the coaching model for a couple reasons. One, in 2006, I decided I didn't want to do psychotherapy anymore. I didn't want to deal with insurance. And I started doing nothing but professional hypnosis, only seeing clients who wanted to be hypnotized. But anytime you offer a limited service, hypnosis, get back in the recliner for 45 minutes or whatever, there has to be discussion. There has to be goal setting. There has to be a way of measuring success. And the coaching model of not problem resolution, that's a therapeutic model, but of creating shared success. That's the underlying philosophy of the coaching model. The same as a sports coach is really a model that I think integrates really nicely with the delivery of hypnosis services. So since 2006, I have been exclusively, even though licensed as a mental health professional and the owner of a wooden giraffe, I have been exclusively using hypno coaching models, if you want to call it that. By the way, I think hypno coach is actually Zulita Grant's trademark name. But
I was about to bring that up. Yeah,
Zulita is another person who offers excellent coach training, as of course the ICBCH and a number of different organizations out there. In fact, most of the coach training programs that I've seen and the courses that I've taken have actually been excellent. So that's sort of the history and the background. Scott, you are actually a genuine athlete, and so
past tense. Let's go.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about your perspective and your experience on coaching. Then we'll answer some of these hard-hitting questions that the group has asked. By the way, there's a chat box down below. Ask any questions you want to. Every Sunday night we get together to talk about awesome stuff, to share some brilliant ideas, and to experience hypnosis. And tonight's no exception. So, Scott?
So, I am an athlete. I come from an athletics background. I was on a competitive swim team when I was 3 years old. I trained at the Olympic Training Center. I've trained with Olympians in a couple different sports. And I've got friends who are Olympians in many sports. And so I've been exposed to a lot of coaches and a lot of styles of coaching. And I've been a coach. In fact, I was just talking to my wife about this tonight in preparation for tonight's topic, that I am an undefeated coach in athletics with many years of coaching at many different levels, from little kids to big teenagers. And I am undefeated after years of coaching and I do coaching with a lot of my clients. When I do, and we'll talk about what that looks like in a minute, when I do, I've got a pretty high success rate there too in helping these clients to win. And the way to do that is to make effort fun and to be able to take pride in putting in effort, and so that it's not willpower doing it. It's an emotional set of drivers that are rewarding and gratifying and all those things. So I think coaching is a great tool for us to use. I think in a part of my answer to I think James, you asked about the comparison between giving advice and coaching, and I think giving advice can be a strategy used within coaching, but it is only that and not always that. So answering questions is not the same thing as coaching. Helping someone to learn a set of skills, helping give feedback, so like moving in the direction of shared success, and it's a set of things that we're going to do together with a shared set of benchmarks, those sets of things. And Aaron just posted in the chat room a couple minutes ago, this is why I'm a coach. Yeah, and you do a different type of coaching, but it's the same kind of thing, right? Where you're looking at metrics, you're looking at performance in the assigned arena, and you are going to give qualitative feedback. That's not a diagnosis, it's about performance. And being able to, based on your authority in that area, be able to assess and give feedback that can help the client get there. So I love the idea of coaching, and I use a lot of what I learned as an athlete as models and how I coach. which means that I am assertive with them. I call them on their bullshit and encourage them and high five them and celebrate with them when they do well. And which is one of the reasons why I'm working with a couple professional athletes now. They like that model, and they like being told what to do by an outside person, then integrating that and going, performing, and succeeding based on that. So those are my thoughts. Richard, you've been scribbling away and being busy over there while I've been talking. What you got?
I have been scribbling away. There's actually a set of notes that I wrote the other day because I happen to be recording some video later tonight, and then I wrote some notes right now to answer one of the questions that was posted earlier without forgetting what I was going to talk about. Maybe having notepads like this all around is a holdover from being a therapist, though. Right?
Probably. Well, that's why I went paperless. You got to go paperless, right? I've got all mine on this
I'm
thing.
never going to go paperless. I'm much older than you, Scott. And,
That's fair.
stick with paper until the forests are gone.
I hope. Well, they're going to be gone if you keep sticking with paper.
All right. So, so what I've actually been scribbling away really is sort of an outline or a model of coaching. How does it differ from therapy or psychotherapy, and what does it actually do? One, I think it differs from the type of client that we work with. Again, rather than working with a mentally ill client, we're seeking out those who are trying to reach their highest level of potential. In counseling, we're often trying to move a person to an adequate or a pre-crisis level of functioning. But in coaching, we're trying to take a person who's already functioning well and take them to the top of the Maslowian escalator to their highest level of potential. For example, I do a lot of academic performance hypnosis. It was either last year at HypnoThoughts or this year at HypnoThoughts, I can't remember, that I did or am doing a session on academic performance. In fact, Roger and I
Tell the difference between the past and the future.
I don't remember if it was the past or the future. Well, I teach on this topic a lot. In fact, Roger and I are going to be teaching.
Wait, that wasn't me. Sorry, go ahead.
So in fact, we're going to be talking about that in the future. Now, I think a lot of hypnotists use hypnosis to help people move from like a D or a failing grade to a level C or a B, right? I'm not interested in doing that. I'm not interested in, it's just my preference. I'm not interested in helping the failing student become a marginally passing student. The only academic performance, and I think a much better business model for academic performance hypnosis, is I only work with the exceptional students. I only work with students who got a 34 on the ACT and are trying to get a 36 the next time they take it. By the way, 36 is the highest you can go, and a 34 usually qualifies you for like a Rhodes Scholarship or something. Okay, so you can get a free ride.
National Merit Scholar at that level, right?
National Merit Scholar. That's what I'm thinking of.
I remember this.
There you go. So that's who I work with. I work with the A student to help them become an A+ student. And it's really sort of the same sort of business structure, or the difference between the type of client that you're working with, and athletic coaching. You could work with the person who's not very good at bowling to help them become an okay bowler. Okay. I would prefer to work with the person who's shooting 298s who can't seem to ever hit a 300. And so coaching is often working with the highest level of experience, trying to make those minute differences that help a person become a superstar from what is usually a high level status. Now, the second thing is in the assessment process. In the assessment process, when I have a client in coaching, I don't ever ask them what's wrong. Well, what are you doing wrong? Why are you screwing it up? I work from a strengths-oriented perspective. There's a lot of research on strengths-based assessment. Martin Seligman, his work from the University of Pennsylvania, the whole idea of positive psychology. I try to take a person's strengths and use those so that they compensate for the deficit. So my assessment process is really about what's right with a person, not what's wrong with a person. That's an entirely different mindset than traditional therapy. The third aspect of coaching is really goal setting, specific targeted goals. That's how you know whether the coaching process is successful. Followed then by interventions. And those interventions are almost always designed to parallel program the subconscious learnings with the conscious actions. So they're going the same direction. And that is a hypnosis or NLP process. Okay? So, and it even looks like I'm doing coaching hand signals or gang signs.
So look at that is the same way an athletic coach has their athlete. They may draw something up on the whiteboard or the chalkboard or whatever it is. Then they have them go out on the practice field and run through it together until they can do it right. The same thing is done with hypnosis or NLP. The procedure is instead mental/verbal instead of physical. But the parallels continue there.
Right, exactly. And then I think that we want to create a shared experience with those that we're coaching. We need to be excited and interested in the work that they do. People are surprised at how many clients call my office that I don't take an appointment with. And the reason why is real simple. I only work with the clients who I want to work with, and I only work with the clients who are going to do well. I never work with clients who I don't think are going to do well. I'm not trying to fill another hour with clients who can pay my fee. I'm trying to only help those people who I can be helpful to, and I only take clients who I'm going to be successful with. Therefore, I only work with clients I'm interested in working with. I don't take any other clients. And this, by the way, makes my success rate virtually 100%. And it makes it really easy to create shared experiences with them. And I find myself doing this with when I'm seeing a lot of people know for weight loss, I only work with men, and I only work with men who need to lose half their body weight. So 450-pound guys, 48 years old, they need to lose half their body weight in the next 24 months or they die. I create shared experiences with them. In hypnosis, I'm hoping that I respond to those same suggestions so that I can be healthy as well. In my coaching for financial success, for example, I've been doing a lot more of that recently. I've been working with wealthy clients, helping them to become wealthier. I want to actually do what I ask my clients to do. I got something to show you here. Where is it? It's got to be right around here. Here it is. Ask me what this is, Scott.
What is that?
It's not my Devo impersonation.
But it doubles as one.
But it could double as one, correct. This is my wealth garden.
Tell me more.
Well, I'm actually going to make a video later tonight on the idea of the wealth garden. And obviously, this is a metaphor for stepping into our highest level of success, right?
Are you doing 3 buckets where there's like a personal, a professional, and a health or something like that? Or are you doing a different thing?
No, but that would be pretty cool. I was actually going to put money in this and begin to cultivate it.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens is a lot of people think, well, I wish I had more money. Well, the easiest way to have more money is actually to start with not what you wish you had, but what you actually have. So if I put, $1 a day into my wealth garden, I do that for 30 days, I'll have $30 and I can harvest it at the end of 30 days.
That is correct.
That's pretty cool. And that's actually the starting point for creating a mindset of wealth. Okay. So I have this wealth garden. But what's cool is I'm going to teach other people about this metaphor, and I'm actually going to have them buy flower pots and actually do this so that they can step into financial success. But I've been doing that in my own life. So I want to create shared experiences. When I'm coaching people on the subject, I will often choose to do what I'm asking them to do. And I may or may not disclose to them that I'm also following these same suggestions, but that shared experience makes coaching or hypnosis even more powerful. And the final step here, or the final phase of a coaching model, really is a win-win. It's a win for you, and it's a win for your client. And the way it's a win for you as a coach is that we actually got in this field because we really like helping people make change. I've had numerous experiences over the years as both a therapist and a hypnotist, where people have come up to me years later, and they run into me somewhere, or they send me an email years later, and they say, hey, thanks, hey, I made significant changes, and life is great, and man, it just feels really good. I got a guy right now, it may actually be in the room, came to Tulsa Hypnosis Center to see me for hypnosis a couple of years back, and he's been a person who's regularly purchased items on my website, and I even encouraged him to come to HypnoThoughts Live. And I have people like that who, years later try to pass along what I've shared with them that's been helpful to other people. and then it becomes self-replicating, and that's a pretty awesome win-win for the coaching model, something you rarely see in therapy. So there's sort of a short conceptualization of how the coaching steps or stages work and how it's different than counseling.
If I may, I believe it's time for story time with Uncle Scott.
Yes, it is.
Story time with Uncle Scott. These are stories that sound possible, and I won't always tell you if they're true or not. But in this one, I have a friend who's a volleyball coach, and he's a high school volleyball coach at a girls' school, and he's a good guy. And the team is very competitive. You know, they're top 10 in the state, top 5 in the state every year. And so they have tryouts, and this girl transferred from another school. Now, all the girls in the school, they've all been playing on the same teams and club teams and all-star teams together forever. But this girl transferred from a new school, so she's got to try out with the rest of the girls. Now, this coach knows the team she came from and knows that team is good. So he has high hopes for this girl. But this girl's got insecurity. This girl's got social anxiety. This girl's a 16-year-old girl who's new in school on the first day of class, and she's going to try out for the volleyball team because that's where she's going to make friends. Well, this sounds nice, but she's nervous. So she doesn't want to put on the outfit and try hard and fail. So she just stays in her jeans that she wore to school. She didn't even bring the outfit. Well, all the other girls did. They brought their little shorts and the knee pads and tennis shoes and all that, and she's just dressed for high school. All right. Well, they start practicing and playing, and they're running through drills, and the coaches are evaluating them. But she doesn't want to embarrass herself by reaching and going hard, right? She doesn't want to dive on the floor and miss the ball. So she's just getting the balls that are sort of around her and really not committing. Now, to a bad coach, they would just see this as a girl who's not putting in the effort, and they, just cut her in the first round of cuts and not let her back to the second day of tryouts. But my friend did not do this. He pulled her aside and said, look, I know you're better than you've shown me today, and I'm going to give you another chance to prove to both of us how good you and I both know you are. I see more in you than you've given me, and I don't accept that. Come back tomorrow in the outfit and really play volleyball for me, because today you didn't try out. So the girl does. She tries out, and she's good. Now, she's not the best player on the team, but she's one of the first or second who comes off the bench. She's a major contributing factor to the team, but more importantly, that the team does well. They get like third in the state or something like that, top 5 in the state like they usually do. But more importantly, this girl makes great friends and really shifts the trajectory that she could have gone in. She could have gone down a really nervous, shy, introverted hole, but instead she became, really close with some of those girls on the team. And on one of the last games of the season, the parents came up to the coach, and they said to my friend, we just want to thank you. You have transformed our daughter, and you've given her a high school life and a social life that she's going to get to enjoy and cultivate with great relationships and learn how to bond with people. And he said, I didn't give her any of those things. I saw that those things were already in her and just gave her a place where she could practice them. And I think there's a part of our job as coaches that is to see the good in these people before they do and help pull that out. It's not diagnostic and it's not therapeutic. It is believing in them and helping them to have a place where they can do it themselves. And that's what Richard was talking about when he's talking about Martin Seligman and maybe even Eckhart Tolle a little bit, and Mihai Csikszentmihalyi.
Csikszentmihalyi, that's the funnest name to say.
I can't ever say his last name. I always want to say Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, which I know is wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong. But I guess in California, it's probably...
That's exactly right. But you get those guys that are about, you see the good in these people, and you give them a place where they can demonstrate that to themselves first in a safe place. And that's what a coach does, gives the person a safe place to practice being the person they want to be in the game. So that's story time with Uncle Scott for this evening.
That was a great story. I vote for a round of backward threes.
Backwards threes. Look at that.
Backward threes for Scott.
There's a delay in the chat tonight, so we won't see those threes for a moment.
All right, Scott, I'm not looking at the chat room, so you tell me if there's any questions. Okay. Every Sunday night, we get together to share some ideas on hypnosis, etc. However, just to point out, we are taking a summer break. Next Sunday, I will be actually on an airplane headed to Las Vegas. And the next weekend is the 4th of July. And Scott and I are going to be getting ready for Hypno Thoughts. And so we're going to take the next 6 weeks off, just so you guys know that, which doesn't mean that we will stop offering some interesting and awesome content. We'll probably post some videos on this page between now and then, but we do want to give you a heads up that it is time for a short summer recess. Scott, any questions right now?
No, there's a couple of people saying they love running to old clients. Lori just wrote LOL, and I just wrote schools out for summer.
Schools out for summer.
Which is, by the way, that song is great, but that song only to me pulls out the movie Dazed and Confused, which is such a great coming of age, that period of life movie with a lot of actors that turned out to be great. Matthew McConaughey just won an Academy Award.
I never saw the movie because it was not coming of age when I was coming of age. When I was coming of age, it was The Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, this movie is as good as The Breakfast Club in that coming of age kind of thing. So it's worth watching. It's timeless. Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck, Parker Posey is the girl in there, and Mia Jovovich is the other girl. Two amazingly talented actresses, two amazingly talented actors, and probably a couple other people in there that I'm not thinking of. I feel like Renee Zellweger might even be in there somewhere. But, it's that kind of a list.
I have no idea who any of these people are, but I do think I've heard of Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, well, yeah. She was in Jerry Maguire.
All right, I just posted a link in the chat room, by the way, and the reason why is a lot of people wonder, why has Richard been in Las Vegas most of the last 2 months? Well, I've been working on a variety of different projects, and last but not least, or one of those was some projects with John Serbone. And so I decided I would share with this group that we have officially launched our new website, John Serbone and I, stagehypnosistraining.com. So instead of buying hundreds of dollars worth of stuff to learn stagehypnosistraining.com, you can join our membership site. It's $27 to get going, and there's lots of great resources. I posted a link there because it's got a lot of great resources. People ask me about stage hypnosis ever since they saw our show last year at HypnoThoughts. And by the way, Scott, tell us what's going on at HypnoThoughts. There are probably some people in the chat room who have not yet committed to coming to HypnoThoughts. You got a great lineup of stage hypnotists, but you also have an awesome lineup of people teaching some awesome stuff. What is going on in August? And if you're not signed up yet for HypnoThoughts Live, please do so today. The hotel is starting to sell out, but even if it's too late, there's some other great places down the street.
No, we've already sold the hotel. We had to go back to the hotel and renegotiate a larger room block because we bought out all the rooms that we've had the same number of rooms reserved for the last 3 years. And 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, 3 weeks ago, I think we finished up the room block. We used all the rooms we've ever used and then some. They gave us a buffer. We filled that. We had to go get more rooms. This thing is getting massive. It's just stupid how big it is. We've got so many awesome hypnotists. I'm really, really just grateful. The number of people who, when we first started, we were calling hypnotists saying, hey, will you come speak for us? And they were like, no. And now those people are calling us and saying, hey, can I please present for you? So it's really fun to see that it really is the biggest show on earth right now in the industry. It's just growing so fast. We have such a wide variety of presenters. We have representatives from all the major organizations are invited. We give all the organizations a free booth because we want everybody to be there. We want everybody to be able to ask and answer questions. We want this to be a place that's valuable for everyone, not just people who agree with me. So there are presenters who present at HypnoThoughts who I disagree with.
There are presenters at HypnoThoughts you don't even like.
There's presenters at HypnoThoughts who don't like me, and they've told me so. And we still let them present because the idea isn't to get a whole bunch of people who agree with me. The idea is to get a whole bunch of people who think for themselves. And that's the difference between a conference that's run by an organization and a conference that's run by a disorganization. Organizations have standards that they are supposed to enforce, and that's their job and good for them.
And HypnoThoughts Live has no standards.
We have no standards. We have feedback forms, and we invite back the people that you guys want to see. We reject the people you don't, and we make sure that everybody's going to get what they come for one low price. And we're coming up on 9 weeks away. We're at 9 weeks away right now. So we're coming up on the cheapest time to buy plane tickets, or the deadline before prices for plane tickets go up. So you really want to be booking your stuff now. Look at the lineup. Richard posted in the chat room, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year. This year is just.
Here's the cool thing. Although I encourage people to stay at the Orleans because it's always fun to stay where the action is. There's lots of cheap hotels in Las Vegas. You can always get a cheap room in Vegas. And you can always get a cheap flight to Vegas. So with the low cost of registration, plus about probably $600 from just about anywhere in the USA for a plane ticket and a couple nights of hotel in Vegas, you can be all in for $1,000, $1,200 no matter where you live. And even if you're outside of the USA, if you're a really smart, savvy shopper, you can probably get a plane ticket from Europe. It's a little difficult in summertime, but it's the end of summer. That works to your advantage. You can still get there for about $1,100. Fly something like Condor from Germany and just drive to Frankfurt. If you're coming from Asia, lots of cheap flights into LA and then drive over. And lots of great ways to get there that are real.
And all room rates are insanely cheap. We've worked really hard to get. I mean, the main philosophy we have is we want you guys to have money when you get there, and we want you to spend money on the vendors and the presenters and give money to each other, not give money to us. So it's really fun. We're excited about it.
So we're almost out of time, Scott. So let's actually go through a hypnosis session here, because that's what we do every Sunday night.
Yeah, and it's your turn, I believe. So you're going to do a hypnosis coaching session for us.
There you go. And so the easiest way to learn hypnosis, I've always been a big believer, is simply to experience hypnosis. And so you came here tonight because you had an idea. That idea was to probably learn some new things and to hopefully become aware of some new resources available to you. And so as you listen to my voice and watch this video, you can choose to pay attention to each and every word that I use, or you could pay attention to the giraffe or to the bamboo reeds on the wall. Or you could simply close your eyes and let your mind drift, dream, and float a bit. Using this time and this experience that you've set aside tonight to really reach for the stars and experience a change in the way that perhaps not only benefits you, but the clients that you work with. By stepping into a new chapter of life and a model of hypnosis that really draws out a person's strengths and resources, a coaching model. And so as you contemplate that thought with the conscious mind, with each breath in and out, with each number, let yourself drift into an even deeper state of relaxation or concentration or learning or empowerment or whatever resource state that you find most valuable in hypnosis. Each number and each breath bringing you to that higher level of awareness or that deeper level of trance. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each number and each breath associating more and more into that state of hypnosis that you find most resourceful and valuable. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It doesn't really matter if you associate that with a deeper level of trance or a higher level of consciousness. Either way is fine. What's really most important is that whether you've gone 3, 2, 1, 0, or 9, 10, 11, that you've made a decision to fully experience the benefits of hypnosis by finding yourself right here and right now in a place where, with each breath and each moment, you can be confident and empowered and successful, but also know that you have the resources because you've dedicated your time to learning that can truly benefit others and guide them into resource states that can change their lives. And so, over the next week or two, or the next month or two, as you perhaps implement some of the ideas from these classes over the last few months, or some of the ideas from the books you're reading, or the DVDs that you're studying, or even the live classes that you're taking, like HypnoThoughts, you'll find yourself becoming excited and passionate about those ideas, implementing them in your own life, and sharing them with clients. Noticing not only the success that you experience, but the shared success that you create by not doing something to them, but by doing something with them. Beginning to implement a coaching model in the work that you do. Whether you're new to hypnosis or whether you've been doing this for years and finding yourself experiencing success at every level possible. And there may be some things in your conscious mind or even your subconscious mind, things that you're either aware of or even things that you're unaware of that have been holding you back. And so right now in this place, this resource state of hypnosis that you've created, whether those things are known or unknown, you can simply release them. Let them rise above you as you, in the next couple of moments, begin to stir, begin to awaken, or begin to reorient to the room. And you'll find that when our time is over tonight, when our session is up, that you feel fantastic, that you're ready for either the rest of the evening or a good night's rest, either way, knowing that tomorrow will bring a new opportunity for new successes, both in your own life and that which you can share with others. And so you've created this state, a state that you find valuable. And so you can amplify this state that you've created. If it's relaxation that you needed at the end of a busy weekend, double that relaxation. If it's concentration or focus because the tasks of the day have been taking you from the things that are really most important to you, amplify that concentration or focus. Just excitement about new learning. Let yourself step into a resource state of learning and amplify that, and take the next minute or so to simply enjoy it, recognizing that this resource state we call hypnosis isn't something that I've done to you, but something that we have shared together. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Just to breathe and to be here in this time, in this place. New learnings, new experiences. In fact, you can even congratulate yourself, give yourself a virtual pat on the back. You've done an excellent job over the last couple of months, really participating with me and with Scott, with everyone else here in the room. And so, although we're going on a break, you can use this break to creatively enhance your learning. Maybe by reviewing some of the archives you missed or by learning something new on your own. But either way, you'll find success at both a personal level and with your clients as well. And so begin to reorient to the room around you. Pay attention first to the chair below you where you're sitting right now. And with your eyes closed, pay attention to the air in the room around you. You might even hear the hum of a computer or the whir of an air conditioner or heater above you or below you. Notice the weight of your hands and even the weight of your shoe on your foot. And as you recognize that by noticing these things, you're practicing the skill of noticing. mindfulness. Stirs an excitement and a passion and energy and a creativity. It takes you into the next step of learning. 1, stretching out your muscles that need to be stretched. 2, taking in a deep breath, ready to open the eyes on the count of 3. And 3, opening the eyes, feeling fantastic and ready for the rest of tonight or today if you're in Australia.
Thank you, Richard. That was wonderful.
You're welcome.
So this is us getting ready to go away for 6 weeks right now, huh?
Yeah, it is us getting ready to go away for 6 weeks, but we're really not away. We're just doing other stuff.
That's true. You and I are still going to be talking every week, and we'll be talking to all of you guys online, whether that be on Hypno Thoughts or Facebook. You're getting threes in the chat room, by the way, not surprisingly. In fact, Lori has figured out how to make the threes backwards and also in circles, which are both impressive.
Whoa, that is awesome. He's typing in Greek or something.
He's doing something impressive, and I'm not even sure how to explain it.
Pretty cool.
We're still going to be around on Hypno Thoughts. We're still going to be around on Facebook. We're still going to be around to bug you guys, to share with you guys, stuff that we think is interesting.
We'll be back in 6 weeks.
And we'll be back in 6 weeks, and we'll see you guys in a few weeks after that at Hypno Thoughts Live. So we will be around. Have a great summer, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Well.